the Vangear modular system. So we have the rear pod, and the rear pod can be mixed and matched with front units. So this is the fridge, our fridge pod. So it has the Victor Frigo fridge in there, but you can also have the 50 litre version of this, 50 litre fridge version of this, and also our maxi pod, which doesn't have a fridge. So these units can be mixed and matched with this rear pod. So the principle is, like many of our units of Vangear, fully assembled units. They are quick and easy to fit. So they reduce the amount of time in your conversion. So this unit is fully assembled. It has the hob and plumbing already done. So it's just a matter of fixing it down and fitting the fridge in. Really cuts down the amount of time that it takes compared to, for instance, a self-assembly unit, which can. And then you have the rear pod for storage. So the back is actually off this one at the moment, but because we'll do a demonstration about fixing it. So you have storage here, and you have storage around the back, and also space for hanging coats around the back, and your hookup leads and that type of thing. So this is the principle of the Vangear units: quick and easy to fit. We have the rear pod here, and then we have a front kitchen pod. So just going to demonstrate the fitting of the rear pod. We've actually taken the back off this pod just for visibility. But the basic idea is you've got the VW loading lugs here, and then one at the front there, and then we've got matching slots on the unit here. So we're going to use the loading lugs to fix it to the floor, and then we've got this crossbar, and then we've got a stud that we fix onto the side of the van. So this stud is fitted 100mm down from the underside of the shelf. And the reason for that is we've already lined it up with a hole in the side of this short wheelbase transporter. If you've got different setup, this bar can be fitted at different heights, and then we've also got this T-section that can be fitted to the side of the van, and then the stud threads into there. So we've pre-fitted this stud into the van there, and we've removed the load ties from the floor there. So the basic principle is, at this stage, helps if we've got two people, but they can be done with one person. So we're going to push back the unit over the stud there. We then use the washer and wing nut to fix it back. As I say, normally this unit has a back, but just to make it a little bit clearer what's going on, we should remove that back. We then use these M10 bolts with the washers onto the loading eyes. So you can see the front one there goes in there, and then the rear one is just at the bottom there. Okay, so we've fitted the rear section, the rear pod. We've fitted it to the load lugs at the back and the front, and then we've used the stud and the wing nut to fix it back to the van. We're then going to position the front pod up to the rear unit. It's got the fridge in it, so it's a little bit heavier than normal. So we're going to butt that up, and you're going to line the units to where you want it. And there's a loading fixing slot in the bottom of the unit here. And in this case, we're going to use bolts, one here and one under the fridge, to fix the unit down to the floor. If it was located over some seat fixings, you might be able to use our J-clip to fix onto the seat fixing via these mounting slots. Demonstration of the rear of the rear pod. We've got the back, there's normally a back on here, we've got this off for demonstration purposes. Before I talk about the mounting of it, we now have two versions. We have this slightly deeper version for panel vans, so the Transporter panel van, the Renault Traffic, those, and Ford Transit, those panel vans that have a little bit more space around the edges. You can have the deeper version, and then we have a shallower version, which is 35mm shallower, and that's for the Volkswagen Shuttle with the factory trim, and the Volkswagen Caravan with the factory trim. So obviously when the van has the factory trim, the trim takes up a bit of space, so you need a slightly slimmer unit. So with this version, we've got our optional extra cost 30-litre tank. So the 30-litre tank slides in here, and then you can then plumb that into your front unit for a much larger water capacity, and also a very easy fit to do as well. So like I talked about earlier, when you're fitting this to a Volkswagen Transporter, short wheelbase, you've got these. You can obviously use these to bolt this pod down to any van as well. So we've had people fit these to the Renault Traffic and the Ford Transit, and they just use these feet to bolt it down. If you do have a short wheelbase Transporter, you can use bolts to fix it onto the loading lugs. One there and one here. And then you can, so this is the rear selection with the rear door. You've got your coat hooks here for your coats, and you can refill your water bottle from here, and also room for your hookup cables and that type of thing. So then the rear of the pod is fixed with this crossbar. So this crossbar comes loose, but if you're fitting it as per our instructions earlier, it's 100mm from here to here, and then you've got the stud which should be fixed onto the van, and then you push the rear pod onto the stud, and then from the inside here you tighten it up with your washer and wing nut, and that secures the rear of the rear pod. So there you go, that's the rear pod, which is fitted with our range of kitchen units at the front here.